You're listening to the Resilient Tourism Podcast Series, a podcast created to spread a culture of innovation in Switzerland, seeking to inspire Swiss travel and hospitality professionals in shaping the digital transformation of the tourism sector. Through this collection of inspirational Swiss success stories about the use of data and digital technology, we aim to foster cross-fertilization among tourism businesses across Switzerland and so establish a community of like-minded professionals willing to cooperate towards the innovation of travel. Each podcast has been recorded in the national language of the speaker, or in some cases, in the preferred language by the speaker. A short summary of each episode is available on our website, www.resto.ehl.edu. This podcast series is produced by the EHL Hospitality Business School under the InnoSwiss funded Resilient Tourism Flagship Project.
Hello everyone, I am Alessandro Inversini and today I'm happy to introduce you my colleague Cindy Heo, Professor in Revenue Management at EHL École de Lausanne. In this episode, Cindy demonstrates how revenue management practices can be beneficial for all tourism stakeholders, not only for airlines or hotels. Revenue management is a great example of how the digital transformation of a company can lead to its success and to better customer experience. So, enjoy this talk.
Okay, I'm Cindy Heo. I'm an associate professor of revenue management at EHL Hospitality School. And I'm doing several research projects and also provide some industry consulting service about revenue management strategy for tourism and hospitality companies. I say I'm an expert in revenue management, and as a revenue management person, I can see that revenue management has been effectively and successfully implemented in airlines and hotel industry. But its application to the small and medium enterprises in tourism businesses are very limited so far. And I think it is mainly due to the insufficient level of digital transformation within SMEs. Actually, I am just starting some small project with some tourism enterprises. So because they are not hospitality industry, they are tourism sector, but they start to use some revenue management approach. So I could see, I have some conversation with the industry people, and I realize actually because of the COVID-19, the pandemic, that did accelerate actually digitalization of the workplace in many ways. But at the same time, it also widened the digital skill gaps, especially among SME tourism businesses. So if you look at the industry, actually even small businesses are using several digital tools already, right, to improve their operational efficiency. For example, we are very frequently use the booking system, even to book some small tour services or other travel-related services. And also small businesses use some kind of digital tools to manage inventory or to kind of automate their administrative tasks. However, I see they are not really fully realize the benefits of data analytics, right? Because it is useful for gaining insightful kind of, information in terms of the customer behavior and preference. And that actually can help their, business strategy and improve their decision-making process. So if we looking at the revenue management, actually it's heavily rely on the understanding customer behavior and the preference to find the revenue opportunity. And I think that is the missing part for especially SME businesses. But when I talk to the industry, right, small businesses, right, tourism industries, actually they already have many data. We just say they are using reservation system, right? So data are there, but they are not really utilizing them. And I see the data, stay as a dot here and there, right? So if they really like to have a valuable insight, the first step is to integrate data from the different data source into one, right? And also many people think if it's a data, it's the quantitative data. It is useful, but also we can have a more in-depth, insights from qualitative data as well. So one of the examples, we know the importance of customer review. But customer review is only one side, and I can say it's more passive. Only extremely, happy customer or extremely unhappy customer will leave a review. But then it's their voice. I think it should be more active approach to gain the customer insights, and then the data should be cooperated with the quantitative data. Right. And also, the big data analysis has been a buzzword so far, but I'm not a big fan of big data, especially for small and, small businesses. But instead, I think deep data analysis is more relevant for small businesses. So don't look at just the number as the transaction data as number, but need to find the meaning. And the meaning can be obtained when they link the data with more, I would say, like qualitative data, and then in a one basket. So that would be the first step they can start. And when they are able to understand the whole picture, they can find it's not just operational efficiency. They are able to find some new additional revenue opportunity. That's how I think the revenue management practice can help the small businesses. And it's not only just efficiency, but like improve business performances. I applied the revenue management to restaurants, and I wrote some about the book chapters about restaurant revenue management, and I write articles about revenue management for theme parks. But I like to focus on really small businesses. Let's look at a small boat, like a rental, right? So in that case, like if you see, they have a limited number of boats to rent, right? Every day they have a fixed number of inventory, but the customer demands are not kind of fixed, and then it's fluctuating. But then at the moment, maybe they use the reservation tool to make a reservation, right? So they know it's full, it's not full. It helps them to kind of operate. However, they are not really try to understand when is the preferred time, because the price normally weekdays versus a weekend, but the rates are not dynamic. What about the rate for the Monday 8 a.m. versus 2 p.m. are different? Then maybe if the price are same, the customers like preferred time will not be changed, but the customer's preference can be changed based on the dynamic pricing approach. So by using this approach, actually they can distribute the demand. They don't have to have too many people on weekend, but by offering slightly cheaper rate, or maybe it doesn't have to be only discount in fact, right? Maybe during weekdays, they can enhance some additional services, right? Because if they start to discount price, actually that affects their sales negatively. But instead, they try to find what is the real extra value they feel, which it does not cost much to businesses. Because maybe during weekdays, they may have enough inventory. They increase the duration of a rental, or they add some extra services. So they can still utilize their inventory during low peak season, but then also like smoothing the demand fluctuation. And maybe they are able to, even I just mentioned about those qualitative data, right? And then ask just customer, how was our service, and how did you feel? How can we improve? What is the extra service they are looking for, right? So that can be added as a new package, for example. One of my study, it was for the like a hotel industry, but what I tried to do was I tried to measure the consumer's willingness to pay for different amenities, different attributes, for example. So if it's a harbor view versus a city view, when you stay in a hotel, you prefer to stay in a harbor view, right? We kind of know, right? If it's especially Hong Kong or it's a very nice city. But then the actual question is like, as a business owner, how much should I charge more? Right? This, you cannot just see the current booking information. You should dig into further what is the real value from the consumer's perspective. And another thing I also talk to the industry people is we need to differentiate willingness to pay versus ability to pay. They are rich and they have enough money. It doesn't mean that they're willing to pay. Because if they don't see the value of the service, if they don't value the experience, even though they have enough money, they don't want to pay, right? So we know how much money they can afford, right? From the transactional data, from their profile, but we should not judge. They will pay for this service. So that is why I think one of the core message I like to deliver is just do not looking at only numbers, And just do not use them as the operation, but try to cooperate with different sources of data to gain really insights. And the insight should be transformed to the business strategy to improve business. So I think the digital transformation is good for business to improve their operation. But at the same time, as a revenue management person at the end, because it's an investment, right? So investment should bring additional revenue and profit. So I think that is the link that we can kind of, highlight here today. I didn't really talk about, those traditional revenue in management industry versus non-traditional revenue management industry. So major difference is airlines and hotels, they have a fixed number. So it's easy to optimize, but tourism destination, tourism businesses, there is no fixed number of rooms and seats, but still revenue management approach can help them to improve business as well as customer visitors satisfaction. And if you see the marketing literature, actually when people have more option to choose, it's not one price that you have to choose. But on the other hand, you say, oh, this is 20% cheaper, but you will have a limited flexibility. It's a full rate, but you have extra benefit. So when we give more options to customers, actually they are happy because it's their decision. It's not by, company's decision that this is your rate. So it's also a good way to improve customer satisfaction in that sense. That is what I write 2009. I applied the application of revenue management to the theme park because theme park does not have a fixed number. But actually during really peak like public holiday, I gave the example as a children's day, like for example in Asia, because the theme park is for kids and it's a public holiday. So the number is too much. So instead we define our optimal capacity. And we apply dynamic pricing to adjust, and maybe during those peak season, we may charge premium price with extra incentives, extra amenities to justify price differences. Then to apply those premium price, we needed to know what is the experience that our customer will, appreciate. That is why, again, it's linked to my first argument. That is actually one of the area I always talk to the industry people. I think the key theme here is a digital transformation. And it is no longer an option, I would say. It is really a necessity. But then it is important what is the right, like a digital transformation they should start first. But then focus should not be just to, improving efficiency, but at the end, they should focus on like catering to customers' experience, because at the end, they will have a long-term positive impact to their business. And they also need to look at not only just the immediate result, right? But then also more like invest in the long-term perspective, right? And that would be my recommendation. And maybe some, especially if we're looking at the small businesses, they feel that investing in digital platforms and digitalization seems expensive and costly. But if we really think of the potential financial loss that they may offer because they didn't do it, could it be even bigger in the long term? So I would just say this is a time to do. Don't think it's we can do later. It's no time to wait anymore.
Thanks everyone for listening to this episode, and a special thanks to my friend and colleague Cindy. We are reaching the end of the first season of this podcast series. Check out our final episode, where we will sum up our learning and maybe give you some insights of what's coming next. Bye-bye!